Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Victoria. If you're new here, hello, nice to meet you. Today I have a lovely little classical Pilates inspired flow. We're going to think a lot about precision and alignment, but then also it's going to be a little bit challenging and fun as well. Just because it's classical doesn't mean it's going to be boring. So whenever you're ready, let's get started. We're going to start seated today, and you can sit towards the end of your mat, but I'm gonna face you for the first exercise just so you can see what I'm doing. But we're going to bring the soles of our feet together in this sort of like long froggy position, not too close to your hips, just making it a bit roomy, you know? And you're just going to bring your hands behind your head, elbows in your peripherals, and I want you to sit up nice and tall. So think top of the head reaching up towards that ceiling. You have a little bit of that curve in your lower back, so you're sitting completely upright, and your ribs are nice and soft, drawing towards that ground. And we're just gonna take some waist twists. So moving from that center, we're going to turn and twist over to the right, only as far as you can without lifting that left sitting bone, and then you're gonna come all the way forwards. Exhale to twist over to that left, moving from that center like you're wringing a cloth, and then inhaling to come back. It's just your torso moving. The opposite sitting bone is pulling towards the mat just to give a little bit of the opposition. And your elbows are just staying where they are, just on the outside of your peripheral vision. And maybe each time you take a twist, you want to try to find a deeper, deeper twist in that torso. Let's just do one more on each side. And then evening up. We're going to return to the front. Amazing. So we're going to bring the soles of our feet on to the mat. So again, if you're not at the bottom of that mat, you want to shuffle your bum down there. The soles of your feet are on that ground, knees are bent. About a fist width distance between those legs. You're just gonna place your hands behind those thighs, elbows nice and wide, shoulders away from those ears, and again, sitting up nice and tall. Top of the head reaching towards that ceiling. And let's just mobilize our spine with some C curves. So belly button to spine is going to push backwards. You're going to tuck that chin in to look at your pelvis, and you're gonna round through that tailbone, feeling that stretch in the back of your neck and in the back of that spine as well. And then you're going to come forwards, belly button, pulling yourself up as you stack back up. So it's an exhale to find that rounded C curve back. And again, you're keeping those shoulders stacked over the hips, so it's just your spine moving in space. And then on that inhale or exhale, I forgot what I said. You know what, just breathe. I do try to give breathing cues because that is, part of the movement. But also the most important thing is that you are just breathing with the movement. You're not holding tension. Next time you find that C curve, we're going to stay there, okay? So really thinking about keeping that shape, that tuck of that chin, that rounded spine, that tuck of that tailbone. You're going to move from those hips, and you're just going to extend, sending yourself back slightly until you're almost on that tailbone. And then again, keeping that spine where it is, you're going to hinge back, moving from those hips, restacking shoulders over those hips, and then you're going to straighten all the way back up into that seated position. So let's just do that a few more times. Going nice and slow, really trying to break those movements apart. So you're rounding that spine first to find that C shape, and then you're sending yourself backwards into space. Let's just do one more. Coming all the way back, and then restacking. And then let's just find that C curve once again for our transition. And then this time we're just gonna roll all the way back into a lying position, nice and slow as you possibly can. Your core is helping to slow down that movement, and then you're going to be on your back. Let's shuffle those feet up towards your bum, just slightly. Again, keeping the soles of the feet on the ground and your knees bent, and that fist width distance between those legs. And your arms are just going to be long beside you. So again, taking stock of that spine, you want the back of your ribs to be pressing actively into that mat with just a little bit of space in that lumbar to find that neutral pelvis and spine. And let's just do some hip curls. So rounding that tailbone into the mat as you send those hips up bone by bone, nice and slow, until you're roughly on those shoulder blades, drawing one long line from your knees to your chest. And then you're gonna slowly melt all the way back down in reverse, melting the ribs down, then the mid back, keeping that tuck of that tailbone until it returns all the way to the mat, and then we're refinding that neutral. So you wanna check that alignment every time you return to the mat. Exhaling to tuck that tailbone as you send your pelvis up, bone by bone. Inhaling, nice big deep breath at the top, keeping those ribs nice and soft. And then exhaling to come all the way back down, using that core, that center, to help slow down that movement and make everything nice and articulated. If you want to bring those arms in, next time you send those hips up, when you're in that shoulder bridge, you're going to bring your arms up and back, sweeping it, reaching it all the way back to, towards that wall, keeping it alongside those ears. And then as you come down, you're going to leave your arms there, melting that spine bone by bone. And then when you find that neutral pelvis and spine again, you're going to sweep your arms up and back, well, up and forward, I guess. Let's just do that a few more times, going in your own pace. There's absolutely no rush. Really keeping that glute nice and active to help support that pelvis when you're in that lifted position. And then on your next one, we're gonna stop at the top. Okay, so we're gonna be on our shoulders. You can either keep your arms down or you can bring your arms up towards that ceiling, palms facing in, depending if you want to challenge your stability. We're going to do some marching, so you can kind of play around and see what feels comfortable for you. But I'm going to keep my arms down just for now. So shifting over slightly to that left foot, we're going to bring that right knee in, keeping it in that 90-degree angle, and then you're going to set it all the way back down. Shifting over to that right, exhaling to lift that left knee up, and then inhaling to bring it back down with control. And as you shift weight and bring alternating knees in and down, up and down, you're gonna try to squeeze that glute and keep that pelvis nice and level. Again, if you wanna take your arms up, you can. We're not here for long. Let's just do one more on each side. And then once you've evened up, we're going to squeeze that glute to support that pelvis, and then we're just going to slowly melt our spine all the way back down, nice and slow. Returning our neutral pelvis and spine before we bring our arms all the way back down. Lovely. So let's do one core exercise before we move into side lying. So bringing your legs up into tabletop one at a time. Again, you want to just glue them together. So just stick them together, toes, knees, thighs. And you're going to bring your hands onto the side of those calves. On your next exhale, tucking that chin, we're gonna come up into that curl up, okay? Let's just start with the arms, and you can choose to bring in the knees, not the knees, the legs, if you want to. So, sweeping those arms up towards that ceiling, and then you're going, okay. So, we're gonna bring your legs, so let's bring our legs up into that double knee fold one at a time, that tabletop, and we're just gonna glue them together. Hands go to the side of our knees or calf, wherever you can reach. When you're ready, you're gonna tuck that chin, come up into that curl up. And you're gonna sweep your arms up towards the ceiling, and then you're gonna circle it all the way around, replacing your hands on those shins. Inhaling to reach up, and then exhaling to circle. Just to challenge your endurance a tiny bit more, you can extend those legs as you sweep your arms up, and then you're going to bring those knees in as you circle your arms around. So wherever you are, it doesn't matter if you are just moving your arms or if you want to move both your arms and your legs, that's totally fine. We're here for 3, 2, last one, best one. And then you're just gonna bring your head all the way back down, step 1 foot down at a time, and then let's just turn over to the right side, into our side lying. I like to use the back of my mat to help find my alignment for that head and that spine, just so I can make sure they're straight. And you can just rest your head on your arm, your left hand can come forwards to just support you. Both of the legs are out long, so just taking a quick glance down, making sure that the hips are stacked on top of each other. And your core is nice and activated to help you stabilize. So let's just do some leg circles. Top leg is going to float up, and you're keeping the toes and the knees pointing forward, so there's no rotation in that hip. And we're just gonna start to draw circles in one direction with our toes. Again, keeping everything nice and facing forwards. And you want to try to draw in all 4 planes. So your front, up, slightly behind, so there's a bit of squeeze in that glute, and then below, if that makes sense. Let's just do 2 in direction before we change directions. Okay, reversing that circle. Really using that core to help stabilize it. If it's a little bit too unstable, feel free to bring your bottom knee up, and that usually helps just slightly. It's just an option. Let's just do 2, 1, and then you're gonna bring your hand. My ADHD is not doing well. You're gonna bring your leg down. Okay, now that we've got that covered, you're gonna push yourself up onto your forearms. So your elbow is beneath your shoulders, and we're just going to separate our feet slightly. So you want one leg, I guess the bottom leg in front. Doesn't matter. Whatever feels comfortable. We're going to be doing side planks. So again, you can kind of adjust your feet depending on how it feels. Keeping your hand on your hip. When you're ready, we're going to push our hips up, using that oblique to help support. And we're gonna bring our arm up and over towards the side of that room. And then you're gonna slowly come all the way back down, sweeping your arm back down to the thigh. Again, exhaling to push up into that side lift, your arms sweeping over towards by your ears, and then inhaling to come down. If you want to take a full plank, you can. So that means you're just gonna place your hand where your elbow was. And again, placing that other hand, the free hand on that thigh, we're going to push ourselves up into that full side plank, sweeping that arm up and over, and then bringing everything down nice and controlled. So it doesn't matter wherever you are, if your wrists can't handle the full support, that's totally okay. Feel free to stay on those forearms. But let's just do 2 more. And then one last one. Very nice. And then we're just going to rotate onto our stomachs before we go onto the other side. So just to do a little bit of a chest expansion moment. Okay, let's do the dart. This is my least favorite thing to teach, but it's really good because it works your entire body. So that's how I'm selling it to you. Okay, I need to stop talking. All right, I'm scared that this is gonna bump the mic, so I'm just gonna move it actually really quick. Okay. Coming back onto our stomach, you're going to put your toes together and let your heels fall apart. Your forehead is going to come onto the mat, and your arms are going to be long beside you, palms faced up. So you don't really want your shoulders to be pulling all the way down to the mat. You want a little bit of lift and expansion in that chest to begin with. Again, finding that core connection. You're going to swipe your nose up when you're ready, lifting your head, your chest, and as you come up into that chest expansion, your palms are rotating in and your feet are abducting. So your heels come together and now your legs are just stuck together. And your hands are slightly pulling you up, reaching towards that back of the room, towards those feet. And you're gonna slowly melt all the way back down. And your palms are going to return, facing to that ceiling, lowering to the mat, and your heels come apart once more. So exhaling to find that lift, arms and legs rotate, your hands are reaching towards those heels, inhaling at the top, and then exhaling to slowly melt everything down. Let's just do a few more like this, maybe 2, going nice and slow. Feeling that stretch and expansion in the chest and in the collarbones. Told you it was a full body movement. And one last one. Last one, best one. Keeping a slight tuck in that chin, back of the neck nice and long. And then when you're done, let's push back into that rest position just to give that back a bit of that counter stretch. And then we're just going to slowly come all the way up. And then let's go on to our other side for side lying. So I was on my right side, so let's go on to the left. And I'm gonna move this mic again because I can feel my arm hitting it. Let's go on to our left side. Again, head coming down onto that arm and your legs either out long or in this seated position. It's up to you. Wherever you are today, you should honor it, listen to your body. And again, just take a really quick look just to make sure that the hips are stacked on top of each other, okay? And a bit of that core activation is turning on to help us find that stability in the torso. So bringing that top leg up into about hip height, we're gonna start to draw circles with those toes. And again, we're trying to draw it on all planes, in front of us, behind us, and that way just working every single part of that hip. You can use that top hand, that free hand to help you find some stability. And again, you can always try to experiment with the size of that circle. Where do you start to lose control? Because this is also about trying to find a good range of movement, right? Let's just reverse that. Someone was slamming the doors outside. I don't know if you can hear that. It's been a very chaotic day of shooting. Okay. Let's just do 3, and 2, and 1. And then you're gonna set your leg down, and then let's push ourselves up into either our forearm or our hands. So it depends where you want to start, where you want to be. It doesn't matter. You can always change it up as you go, you know? But we're going to separate our feet just so that we can start to stand into them. Loose hand, free hand is just going to be on that thigh. And when you're ready, on that next exhale, we're going to push up into that side bend, and your right arm is going to sweep up and over. And then you're going to come all the way back down, bending at the knees, hips come back down to the mat. Exhale to lift. Using that oblique to support the lift, and then inhaling to slowly come down. Words are escaping me today. Let's just do 3 more like this. And 2, try not to rush. Shoulders away from those ears. Try not to sink into that bottom shoulder as well. And then one last one. Bring everything down. Nice. Well, that was not an easy segment, so, you know, I'm very proud of you. Okay, let's come on to our backs. We're gonna do a little bit of teaser fun. So I'm gonna give you a couple options. It's not, you know, super serious. The goal is for you to have fun. So I'm gonna give you a couple options. We're gonna do modified teasers, but I can give you an option as well to do the full teaser. I'll just show you. So coming onto our backs, we're gonna keep our legs nice and outstretched. And we're just gonna bring our arms up and over, reaching towards the back of that room. So you're gonna sweep your arms forward, and as it comes up, you're gonna tuck that chin in, and you're going to bring that knee in, forming this sort of like one-legged boat position, flat back, chest open, looking slightly up towards that wall, and then you're gonna slowly roll all the way back down, tucking that tailbone as you send your leg and your torso back to the mat. And let's just do the opposite leg. So you're gonna exhale to reach and come up, bringing that left knee in again in this sort of boat position, one-legged boat position, looking slightly up, flat back, chest open, and then inhaling to slowly come down. So that's option one. If you would like to progress, you're going to sweep your arms up, come up into a double-legged boat position. So you're gonna bring both of those knees up. And again, your arms are just by your shins, chest open, flat back, looking slightly up. And then you're gonna slowly tuck that tailbone and come all the way back down onto the mat, arms sweeping over. So you can try that a couple times just to get the hang of it. And you don't wanna throw your arms into it. You're moving from that core and from those hips and knees. Let's just do a few more like this. You want it to be nice and slow and controlled. So almost like trying to bring everything up and down as slow as you can. Now, if you want to do a full teaser, you're going to do the same thing, sweeping those arms up, tucking that chin in, but instead of bending those legs, you're just going to bring them up. Oops, arms are in the wrong position. And you're going to make parallel lines with those arms and legs, looking slightly up, flat back, chest open, and then you slowly, come all the way back down. It's really difficult. See, you can see that. Even I am not perfect, but that is the general crux of it. You're just gonna bring those legs up as your arms come up, you're looking up, and then you slowly come all the way back down. That was a lot better. So let's just do our last one, wherever you are. If you wanna try that full teaser and you haven't, then go ahead and why not? Do it for the last one, see where it is. It's not that serious. And then when you're done, let's just bring our knees in and just give it a nice little hug. It's quite intense on the core. I hope that was a legible segment. I just like to, keep things like fun and playful. It's not that serious. So if you're having fun, that's what I'm here for. Okay, and then we're just going to bring our legs down. Let's roll over to the side and push ourselves up, and then we're going to finish up with some saw, which sounds really ominous. Okay, finding that seated position, we're going to bring our legs out wide, like almost mat width, sitting up nice and tall. So again, really trying to find that neutral pelvis and spine, soft ribs, top of the head drawing towards that ceiling, shoulders away from those ears. Let's bring our arms out to the side into this T position. And you want to keep it slightly below the shoulder as well. And I'm just going to turn to face you just so you can see what I'm doing with my torso. So sitting up nice and tall, we're going to find that rotation from that center over to the right. And the left sitting bone is pulling down towards the mat. And when you can't go anymore, you're just going to reach that left pinky to right pinky toe. Your right hand is reaching towards that back of the room, and then keeping that flat back. And then you're just going to slowly come up, back into upright, and then you're going to rotate forwards. So exhaling to go in onto the left side. Inhaling to reach right hand to left pinky toe, left hand's reaching behind. Exhale to stack back up nice and tall. And then inhale to return forwards. Just gonna alternate sides, feeling that stretch in the hamstring when you go to reach your hand to your feet. And if it's a little bit too intense, feel free to bend those knees. So maybe you wanna be here instead of fully straight, that's totally fine. It's a little bit easier on the hamstrings. So you can just reach between your bent knees, stack back up, and then come forwards. That's totally fine as well. So wherever you are, let's just do one more on each side. Stacking up, nice and tall. Really trying to break down the movement as well. Rotating, finding that rotation in that torso, and then you're reaching for your feet. And once you've evened out, we're gonna bring our hands down. Let's just bring our soles together and just fold over them. Maybe hold on to your feet or your shins, whatever feels good. Maybe you wanna place your hands in front. We're just going to breathe here for one breath. And then when you are ready, we're just going to slowly stack back up in that spine. And you are all done, yay! Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. I hope you enjoyed that little peek into classical Pilates, but I hope you have a lovely week and I will see you next time. I just keep hitting the mic, I'm so sorry, goodbye.